Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Greg here, please? Very good.
It's not just scary for young people either. And I totally support what she said. Afternoon, thank you for working on your weekend. It's a really important thing with this long-term plan, and obviously the number of submissions that have come in indicate that we as residents of the city do care about our city and we want better outcomes for everybody. So I'm speaking to mine, which is about relocating the proposed Linwood Havenside Drive stormwater ponds. For transparency, this was the land that I owned and lived on at the time of the earthquakes and invested a lot of money into restoring my home, so I know what happened on the land on the day. The Appendix 13.14.6 of the Otakaro Avon River Corridor Regeneration Plan has identified a narrow strip of land on Avonside Drive between Stanmore Road and Linwood Avenue, on which a series of stormwater detention ponds are proposed to be constructed. You can see that in the map there below. The intention of the ponds is for rainwater to collect, allowing sediment and pollution to settle before the stormwater is then permitted to discharge into the river. Council staff have confirmed that street sumps and gutter grates are all that's preventing raw, untreated stormwater and road runoff from entering the river in the catchment area, that stormwater pipes discharged into drains and streams that feed the river and directly into the river itself, and that none of the stormwater pipe outlets are fitted with pollution filter nets or socks, and the total number of stormwater outlet pipes that pour into Christchurch waterways is actually unknown by the City Council. The land on which the ponds are proposed to be constructed is studded with well-established trees that would be destroyed. Last year, at no cost to the Christchurch City Council or ratepayers other than myself, an additional 60 native trees and shrubs were purchased, and I planted them on the land in an effort to further increase biodiversity, boost habitat for native wildlife, and to assist with ground stabilisation. Hopefully a small effort like mine, which is replicated by many others in community groups as well as individuals, is going to have a really positive impact on the environment in the future. Council staff unfortunately want these gone for some reason, including the 60 native trees that have been planted. Now, it's 2 weeks away until the 5-year anniversary where the council declared not only a climate emergency but also an ecological emergency. Isn't that kind of important? And doesn't the city actually have a goal to actually increase tree canopy coverage rather than reducing it? Those images you see there are the land. It's not just my property, it's the properties that spread east and west of it, and they're all going to be affected by this change. The map you see there is one that was commissioned by the City Council, prepared by Tonkin Taylor. It's known as the Liquefaction Vulnerability Map, and it follows national liquefaction guidance. The darker orange area has been identified as being of high liquefaction vulnerability risk, and therefore increased likelihood and severity of ground damage in a seismic event. Why would you want to build ponds on land that is going to be damaged in an earthquake? Liquefaction and lateral spread are the impacts of that seismic activity, and particularly along the rivers, where the riverbanks will actually come in towards the centre of the river and they collapse, causing infrastructure damage and very expensive, costly damage to the land itself. So the prudent choice, I would think, would be to relocate the stormwater ponds further away from the riverbanks to reduce the City Council's vulnerability and exposure to future financial risk and infrastructure damage. By shifting those pond locations slightly further south away from the river, beyond the boundary of the red zone, you'll actually be situating them on land that's of only medium vulnerability to liquefaction and therefore reducing the risk. By also constructing the ponds on those lower risk blocks of land, it will mean that no trees need to be felled. The photographs you can see there and the map indicate the locations that I'm suggesting and give a clear indication that these are blank, barren pieces of land free of trees. I'm asking you in closing to be fiscally responsible and to be environmentally responsible, to construct the stormwater ponds on land that exposes the council to less financial risk in the future, to construct the ponds on land that is already bare, and don't fell the trees. It's a cost to Christchurch ratepayers and to the environment that we cannot afford. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Greg, for coming in with a
regular staff.
Absolutely.
Just briefly on this, thank you.
Showing us a problem, but also coming up with a solution, which is...
It just seems like a no-brainer. I know the Otakaro Avon River Regen Plan is bounded by the red zone boundary itself, but for council staff to not look at it from a helicopter perspective and go, well, actually, is it the best land to build these ponds on, given the fact that the council's got its own liquefaction risk map that you guys have commissioned, you should be looking outside of it and going, what's the better solution? Is it a good idea or a dumb idea? Cause
And go and plant more trees on the bit that's already got trees on it.
And to allow the public like me that actually want to do a bit of restorative planting, for not only for ourselves but for the land itself, is a good idea.
Yep. Sarah, please. That's
Thanks
it.
for that, Greg. I'm just wondering, the 3 sites that you've identified, do you know what their current uses are? I know that you've said that they're sort of barren pieces of land with no trees. Are they currently sports parks?
No, one was the Linwood Bowling Green, like bowls, that disestablished post-earthquake and is owned by the council as far as I know. The other one on Stanmore Road is also council-owned land, which it's in the plan it's earmarked, you're going to have housing go on, which again I think is a really dumb idea because that section of Stanmore Road actually collapsed. And having been red zoned and orange zoned for a year prior to going red zoned, having a governing body saying we're going to put people living on this land that is highly vulnerable to major catastrophic risk when the Alpine fault ruptures or any other faults that we sit on rupture is a really bad idea. So it's all council-owned land as far as I'm aware.
Thank you, Greg. Well done. Thank you very much.
Any others? No?
See you later.